Anyway, so now let's get to our first. I know it's funny. We almost we're 45 minutes into the show. We ain't really get to our first topic because there was so much other stuff that happened. So yeah, let's get to our first topic and let's talk about Jonathan Majors. So apparently, San Diego Comic-Con came and went, and Marvel had their big announcements and everything that they did at Hall H. And then it was revealed that Robert Downey Jr., he came out in the whole dress up. They had all the Dr. Dooms on stage. And Robert Downey Jr. came out and revealed that he's going to be cast as Dr. Doom. And some people will say that they believe he's going to be playing a variant of Tony Stark and Dr. Doom, whatever. But now I'm hearing that no, he's playing an entirely new character of Victor Von Doom. So it's not necessarily going to be Tony Stark as an evil Dr. Doom type of variant, whatever. It's literally he's playing an entirely new character. Now, of course, people were upset about it on one hand, because they're like, so you couldn't hire any other actors? Like, you couldn't hire the actor that played Jaime Lannister from Game of Thrones? Like, I remember his name was being thrown around. We had Mads Mikkelsen, whose name has been thrown around, which I thought would be a great choice to play him. I've also heard Alexander Skarsgård's name being thrown around. So there were so many other names that people were tossing around that they said, you know what, they would make excellent Dr. Dooms. And then, excuse me, and in my opinion, I feel like if you're going to do something where you need a big bad, like give opportunities to other actors, give opportunities to other people. Yes, Robert Downey Jr. is comfort food. He's familiar. We love him as part of the MCU, but we love him as part of Tony Stark within the MCU. It's like we've built a rapport with him and he's built, and vice versa. And I feel like Robert Downey Jr. has worked hard to get in the favor of us. Now, like I said yesterday, you can prove me wrong. And if you prove me wrong in this whole situation with the casting, I'm willing to eat my words. And I'll come on here and be like, you know what? I didn't see it in the beginning, but I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong. And I thought he did a phenomenal job. But I just have a strong feeling that regardless of what happens, I'm just going to be looking at Tony Stark playing a damn villain. He's going to take me out of the situation, unless it's going to get to a point that you just going to be in the helmet the whole movie. But I just feel like what y'all going to do, because you know how Hollywood is, and these corporate people with their damn money, they're going to be like, well, we have to see his face. Like, and that needs to be sort of like Sylvester Stallone and Judge Dredd type situation. Oh, we can't wear the helmet. He's a movie star. We got to see his face. That's not Dr. Doom then. We're just looking at Robert Downey Jr. in Dr. Doom cosplay. So now fans of the embattled movie star recently called out Marvel execs, as in Jonathan Majors, because, as I should have probably set that up, with Robert Downey Jr. now being the big bad in the new Avengers movies, because remember, it was supposed to be Kang Dynasty, but because of the whole situation that happened, the director of the first Shang-Chi movie had dropped out because his Kang Dynasty movie wasn't happening because of the whole Jonathan Majors beatation situation. So, now that they bring him in, Robert Downey Jr. Now Jonathan Majors is out. So fans of Jonathan Majors are saying that it's not fair that he will be replaced by RDJ in the continued Avengers series, despite his own criminal history. Now, reportedly, Marvel made the big reveal at Comic-Con. Robert Downey Jr., who's 59, who launched the MCU's success with the first movie from the Avengers franchise, 2008's Iron Man, joined the studio president Kevin Feige in San Diego, where they revealed he would be returning to the MCU as the supervillain Dr. Doom, who's commonly known from Marvel's Fantastic Four saga. Dr. Doom will carry the next story arc in the billion-dollar Avengers franchise, with Robert Downey Jr. being the forthcoming bad guy the super team must defeat. Now, if you recall, Jonathan Majors was originally set to helm the next set of Avengers movies, playing the role of the villain Kang before he was fired following his DV conviction. As you may know, the actor was found guilty of reckless assault and harassment following a physical dispute involving his then-girlfriend, Grace Jabari, during an argument back in March of last year. Now, while some were elated to learn that Downey will be signing on for more Marvel films, others couldn't help but blast the double standard they feel is at play. One user referencing Downey's past criminal convictions, which consist of numerous arrests from 1996 to 2001 on drug and possession charges, wrote, Robert Downey Jr. has an arrest record comparable to most career criminals, so him being the replacement for Jonathan Majors only emphasizes the scrutiny placed on Black people to be perfect. Another person by the name of the Don Dada wrote the following, tweeted the following, saying this tweet was made specifically for all the judgmental hypocrites that keep expressly celebrating Majors being let go for his misdemeanor infractions, replaced with an actor with a rap sheet like RDJ. We love RDJ, but I also can see and reason. Now, a couple of other people tweeted the following. One tweeted, RDJ didn't work for a very long time after that period of him constantly getting arrested and going to prison. His acting career was definitely put on hold. People seriously thought he wouldn't work again. Another person, because a lot of people in so many ways were coming to Robert Downey Jr.'s, defense and saying like, you know what, there was a period that the Robert Downey Jr. was blackballed from the industry because he kept constantly getting arrested. He was an addict. And being on drugs is a disease, whereas beating on people and being physical with them is not a disease. That's just someone who doesn't know how to handle their own temper. Whereas Robert Downey Jr. was an addict. Another person put, nah, it's different. Was Majors railroaded? Hell yes. Was he the scapegoat for Marvel's failures? 100%. Now, unfortunately, he has to do what Downey did. Let time take time. Continue to show his excellence and be in position for his next moment to shine, because it will come. Another person put, I think they just used Jonathan Majors' situation to let him go because they felt people weren't liking the Kane character. And that situation was perfect for them to get rid of him and change direction. After Loki, people weren't really feeling what they were putting out. Another person put, he's not a convicted woman beater. Another person tweeted, and when RDJ was committing said crimes and being caught, he wasn't getting roles, and lost roles he was being considered for the same way. Had to go through years before he could even be considered for any major role. So it just goes on and on and on, while a lot of people were sitting there saying pretty much the same thing and trying to debunk it. And I have to say, you know what? Everybody has valid points. It's like, you know what? While I'm looking at it, the way I'm looking, I didn't even look at it, the whole thing of the whole Jonathan Majors criminal situation, because I'm sitting there like, I'm looking at it from a standpoint of, we already became comfortable with knowing Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. He did a phenomenal job as Iron Man. If you're going to come back into the MCU, people can't see you as something else because you've pretty much solidified that character and solidified that role. And look, he's made a shit ton of money as Iron Man. So now you coming in with as this whole new character. Does that mean he took a pay cut, or they had to pay him $25 to $30 million? Which means that these upcoming sequels are probably going to be $300 to $600 million for them to put this whole thing together. Like, what's going to go on with that? And to me, it just feels like the MCU at this point, y'all are still in kind of a limbo type of place. I feel like y'all are just doing like this whole knee jerk, let's throw something at the wall to see what sticks type situation, instead of really thinking this through. Like, I really don't think that they thought this all the way through. The MCU at this point is sort of like in a stalemate. They have disappointed a lot of fans, and don't get me wrong, I love aspects of the MCU. I'm a fan of the first three phases. After phase 3, after Endgame, it's kind of like y'all lost your footing. There have been a couple of movies that have been in those phases that, yes, they were good. We had Guardians of the Galaxy. I like that one, the last one. I also love Shang-Chi. And Black Panther 2, while it wasn't perfect, I thoroughly enjoyed it. So there's certain films within that whole period that I'm like, yeah, they're solid films. But for the most part, there's been a lot of misfires, and especially with y'all TV shows. Now, I love Ms. Marvel, but I did not like Loki either season, and all the other shows that y'all had came out with. Well, I will say this. I did like, oh my God, WandaVision. I did like WandaVision. But was WandaVision during that whole period? I don't remember. But it's like, it's hard to keep up when there's so many shows and movies, which phase was what part of. I have a love-hate relationship with certain parts of what the hell is that damn with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I have my love/hate relationship with that film. There's parts of the film that work for me, there's parts of the film that don't work for me. So a lot of what's come out of the MCU so far is a mixed bag. Then on top of that, y'all got the whole Blade situation. How y'all haven't figured out how to make Blade work. Y'all want to say, oh yeah, we're gonna make this movie, but 5 years plus have passed, and y'all still haven't figured out how to crack the code for a Blade movie. But Ryan Reynolds found a way to make him work in Deadpool and Wolverine. Like, come on, what are y'all doing over there? This is why y'all hire writers, but y'all don't want to be, y'all don't want to put out the money. You want to spend more money on special effects and getting veteran actors, $25 million paychecks to just show up and ham it up on a screen because y'all want to give us nostalgia porn. And that's what I feel like we're in this whole era of now. Y'all want to just nostalgia, 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 but it's like I don't care about the nostalgia is cute for a moment. I don't want a short little endorphin fix. I want a good story. I want, and I feel like when it comes to Marvel and all this stuff, we don't care about movie stars in regards to that. It's you're serving the character that you're playing on the big screen. When we watch comic book movies, I don't care I do care what actors in it. I'm not going to say I don't, but they need to fit the role because it's about the character, especially when you're seeing one of your favorite characters come to life in the big screen. Dr. Doom has yet to get it's his justice due on the big screen. Now, I'm not saying that Robert Downey Jr. can't kill it, but when he's already solidified himself as another character within the MCU, it's going to be hard for people to sit there and watch him as somebody else. So I think that's the overall issue. The whole thing with him and Jonathan Majors being, having a criminal stuff, no, nobody's perfect. And like I said with Jonathan Majors, he's just going to have to go through this hellfire of being, unemployed for a while. Well, not really a while because we talked about it recently that he signed on to do some type of movie. I can't remember what type of theme it was. I don't know if it's a big budget movie or it might be an independent film, but he's working. He's got movies coming up. But in regards of getting back in the good graces of the general public, he's really going to have to work his way up into getting back in the good grace of the people. Like Will Smith. Will Smith went out there and slapped Chris Rock. It seemed like everybody liked Will Smith again. He putting out new music. He just did Bad Boys, the fourth movie or whatever, Ride or Die, whatever. It should have been called Bad Boys for Life. But Bad Boys, Ride or Die, which is actually, if you go on Prime Video, you can actually rent or buy the movie now. So, and I considered renting it because I want to see it. But yeah, so there's that. So I don't think I have any more to add to this. So I was like, well, I get it. And everybody's feelings is valid. My issue more or less is with the casting of Robert Downey Jr. as another prominent character within the MCU rather than just giving that opportunity to an actor who's looking for their moment to just get to that A-list level. Like, stop trying to do this whole incestuous Hollywood thing where it's like y'all want to keep giving the same 5 people in the industry jobs. It's like give the newer generation, a lot of these young up and comers or people who've been in the business for a while that want that big shot, give them an opportunity to prove to themselves prove to themselves in the world that they could be that they could take on this major character. I just felt like Robert Downey Jr. was lazy ass stunt casting. I'll just say it at that. So anyway, whatever y'all thoughts on this story, are y'all here for the whole Robert Downey Jr. being cast as Dr. Doom? Do you agree with the assessment that people are comparing Jonathan Majors' situation to Robert Downey Jr.'s situation and that they feel like it's not fair that y'all pretty much cast him in this whole situation? Whatever your situation, I said situation probably like 5 times in this one sentence. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below.